And welcome to Cruising with Kayfabe. I'm Mongo.
I'm Emily.
And we are reviewing All In Texas 2025. It's in the books, and let's talk about it.
What part? Where do we start?
I mean, you can start in the pre-show and kind of work our way and give you thoughts, because I want you guys to stick to the end, because I know there's a lot of heat. There's a lot of displeasure in this Death Rider storyline. There's a lot of displeasure in Jon Moxley's carrying of the title. But I want to tell you why my theory came true and why everything has gone according to his plan. So stick around for that little nugget. Why Jon Moxley wasn't wrong. Jon Moxley was
I'm
right.
listening here.
But we're gonna hang that for the end, so make sure you hang out for that one. Little pun there. So
Oh, he sure hung out.
so we're gonna go ahead and start. Let's open up. The Sons of Texas taking on Shane Taylor Promotions. First and foremost, you have Kevin Von Erich and his sons coming out in Texas. You have Dustin Rhodes coming out, Sammy Guevara coming out. Start off with people who are from Texas to get the crowd ready. People are following the arena. They're ready to have a good time and have a beautiful moment. You have Anthony Ogogo trying to square up with Kevin Von Erich, and then Wyatt and Wayne Rhodes show up. So you have two generations of Rhodes in the ring. You have two generations of Von Erichs in the ring. It was just a great way to kind of get a smile on people's faces and start the crowd off. I enjoyed it. I know a lot of people are like, why do we have this match? But I think that was a big feel-good moment to start the show.
Again, why it makes so much sense. You need to uplift the people. You need to bring in the power, bring in the fun, bring in every different variety that you have to showcase your roster on top of putting on a good match.
Yeah, and it was a fun match for what it had. You had Shane Taylor Promotions, it's a good group of veterans in there. You have Dustin Rhodes and Sammy, who we would later learn will get there, pulled double duty on the pre-show and the main show. And again, just fun segments. The crowd was ready. We were ready. It was a 2-hour pre-show. We were just ready to get some action, and we were ready to bring the boom, because that's what was next. Big Boom AJ, KOR, Ishii, and Hologram versus the Don Callis family. And I knew we were in for a treat when this started. You got Kyle O'Reilly, Rising, and air guitar all the way down to that ring. I just
never
knew
laughed
it.
so hard at Kyle O'Reilly. I was not ready.
Yeah, it was just great. He's just sitting there. He's like hitting the Riz and air guitar.
And the
kicking.
Rizzler didn't even do it as hard as he was doing it on his way down. So it was even more comical because the Rizzler was more composed.
I know the Rizzler's just doing it all casual. Kyle O'Reilly's it was great. It was another fun moment. Again, people can say what they want about Big Boom. It's the pre-show YouTube stars. We've gone over to death, but it lived up to what it should have been. It was a fun multi-man match with a lot of spots designed to get you ready. And Big Justice getting pie-faced by Trent. And then they recreate the meme, go get him, Dad. He comes over after Big Justice gets pushed. And later, Big Justice would get his revenge. He'd spear Trent. And poor Rocky would eat the power boom after multiple teasing, which I'm going to give AJ some credit here. He was teasing that power boom the entire match, getting it set up. That was old school. I'm going to get this move one way or another. I'm going to keep trying to grab you, keep trying to hoist you up for this power boom. And then when he finally hit it on Rocky, the place exploded. So he understands the crowd. He understands psychology. And that shows obviously his time in the business, whether it's independent or not. He gets it.
He definitely does. And we forgot to mention one of the other really good feel-good moments of the first match.
Which was?
The claw!
No, I mentioned that when he hit the claw on Anthony Ogogo.
But everybody hit the claw.
Oh, you mean when Ultimate? Okay. Yes, that was great when everyone had the claw at the end. So, sorry. See, you took that note. I forgot to take that note. But see, there's just a lot of moments between both.
That one stuck. That was no note, guys. That one stuck. It was so powerful. I thought it was great visual. There's something about the claw story that really just makes you
the Von
tear
Erich
up.
story, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the biggest wrestling
the claw
tragedy.
Movie, sorry.
It's just it's the most tragic thing in wrestling. An entire bloodline of families was just wiped out, and all tragically in horrific circumstances. And each one was a bit either at the top of their game, on their way to the top of their game, and it just knowing what Kevin Von Erich's gone through, losing all his brothers and the life he lived, just to have that moment again in Texas, I agree. And I think AEW recognizes that, and they will at least do the best they can for these veterans. And we learned that Kevin was actually signed to AEW as a coach now.
Yes.
So, I mean, people who want to learn from someone who's lived some of the hardest life and worked in some of the hardest territories, I think even just picking his brain for a few minutes, you have Dustin and Kevin Von Erich, you have the Rhodes and Von Erich's teaching. I'd gravitate towards them.
100%. I would take every note I could. And again, with the Big Boom match, I think that the feel-good moments are there. And I can't get over just how much they do for their YouTube channel and TikTok channel to actually bring in new viewers and faces, even if it's just for the pre-show. To watch Big Boom himself, they're getting views. And I think that that's very notable.
No, I couldn't agree more. And he promoted the hell out of All In. I mean, we knew he was an All In before it was announced because he was promoting that Globe Life Field, July 12th. I'll be there, taking on a member of the Don Callis family.
How we saw Keith Lee.
Yeah, not the Keith Lee I predicted, but we saw Keith Lee, the influencer, who I wonder if he rated anything and tried it 1 through 10. Because that's what he does. It's a shtick. Also, I think Ricochet, we'll get to that later, but didn't Ricochet see Keith Lee in the crowd?
He said, if I would have seen you, I would have given you a knuckle sandwich to rate.
I love Ricochet. And then speaking of love, my boys, the Outrunners coming out to take on FTR to main event, which you called on the prediction show and wanted. The Outrunners FTR closing the pre-show to open up All In. Great placement.
You have to do that big, fun match. And that's what that was. It was every piece of it.
I'll agree with Maureen here. I'm disappointed they didn't do more with Lance Archer in Texas. They had 2 pay-per-views. If Takeshita wasn't taking, they should have had Archer in the spot. Yeah, I agree. There could have been a lot more with Archer. I think they at least tried to get him on the show, but I agree. Maybe a good singles match in Ring of Honor could have been something for him.
The least.
Sometimes it's a swim. I'm disappointed Deonna Purrazzo wasn't in the card somewhere. I just
believe
think
she did Ring of Honor.
She didn't do anything this weekend.
Oh.
So unfortunately, that's the nature when you have such a deep roster. Sometimes is people get left off the card, and it's a shame. And sometimes you might see someone on the card, like, why did they get a spot? And I stopped questioning it a long time ago. And I'm not saying anything negative, Maureen, at all. I personally just, because it's almost like you make your head spin. You're like, why isn't this person wrestling? And then you find out later, like, oh, or
you can make a complete ass of yourself, like I did, and complain about Adam Cole's run to find out he's been dealing with concussions again.
Which we will get to later, because that was definitely was a kick in the teeth there. But to go back to the Outrunners, first of all, they came out dressed like Newports, and that was wild to me. Well, Matt, yeah, but the thing is, you can't overbook it too much. I mean, you had the Battle Royals, you had the pre-show. People are always going to complain either way. It's their WrestleMania. They're always going to have longer things. 2 hours it was the pre-show with 3 matches. They tried to do the pageantry, the entrance. They're trying to make it a moment. They're trying to make All In that big pageantry.
And you have to think about the fact that they did have all these other big things happening. They included so many different talents, and they had 2 gauntlets. So, like, as much as people didn't get their recognition, how many other people did? And when you look at other companies, would they have put that many people on a pay-per-view if it wasn't?
I'm not even going to go there, but not going to go there because I think that's, again, you can say who you think shouldn't be on a pay-per-view. I think it's hard because there's so many. No. I agree. I agree, Matt. I'm not saying that negative. I think it's so hard to book because nobody's ever going to be fully happy. Like me personally, like I like Deonna Purrazzo. I wish she was on the card. I would have liked to see Abaddon stay in the company more. I would have liked to see Marco Stunt get reunited with the Jurassic Express. So I think there's always, especially being a cruiser, Matt, you get this. You make a special connection with someone who may not be seen by the rest of the public like we do. So
Dasha.
Yeah, I agree. I think Dasha could have been involved if she wasn't sent, but it's very hard, and I think that the people who did go on the card, I think they did a great job. And again, I think opportunities are everything, and some companies won't give you opportunities like you're saying. Some companies will. And I think it's people who make the most of it who usually shine. And I think everyone from Evolution last night, which all the women shined on that card, to All In this weekend, everyone shined on the card to GCW. I think when people were given the opportunity, they knew how big this weekend was for wrestling, that the eyes of the wrestling world were literally on everything this weekend. I think people really shined. Like the Outrunners, again, had that great match at Collision. Came out looking like a pack of Newports, which you giggled because you used to work at a gas station, so you
I
knew
knew
right away.
I was like, ew, no.
I was like, that is the most 80s thing ever to come out looking like a bag of Newports, and then taking on FTR in another classic match.
I like their Dixie cups better.
Another classic match. I'm trying not to Google saying Dixie Cup because that's hilarious. Especially with Matt being in the chat. We're getting innuendos left and right without even trying.
What? I don't know that one.
No, because you said dicks. So it's just me being, being an immature child. Me being an immature child because you said dicks. Now I'm giggling. So I really enjoyed the Outrunners FTR. I wish it had a clean finish. I'm not always a fan of the foot on the ropes, hold the foot on the ropes finish. I get why, because it's obviously going to go to a trilogy or it's going to be a multi-man match, but it seems like that match could have almost gotten blown off because of another feud's potential. So I really hope that the Outrunners didn't take another loss for no reason. He hasn't done anything yet. I really enjoyed the match. I thought, again, the Outrunners proved themselves to the doubters and they proved themselves to the haters. And I really think they put on a good match. What do you think?
I really enjoyed it. I think that it brought the funny, it brought the technical, it brought everything that we look for in an FTR match and an Outrunners match.
I agree, and we'll definitely address that later. Romero, we have a lot to say on that one for sure. Darby Allin returning was highlight for us for sure. Good evening, Jesse. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We're just chatting about it. So we're off the pre-show now. We're on to the main card. I know Emily was excited because she had a long day at work, so she was ready to go for this main card, and it wasn't midnight and it wasn't 8 o'clock, so she could actually stay up and watch it and enjoy it. And we'd start off with the Ops versus the Death Riders and Gabe Kidd, which I thought was a good choice to open the show, but I'm gonna be honest, the match was just kind of there for me. I mean, it was good, but it was kind of there. I feel like it could have done a little bit more with Gabe Kidd and Samoa Joe. I mean, there were some moments where Joe was working the crowd. It was fun. It was entertaining. I mean, I'm not going to say it was a bad match by any stretch, but it kind of just felt like, here's the match. But the purpose was served at the end when they took out Joe and kind of, here's that first little wrinkle that no one's going to be able to help Hangman. We're going to take out Samoa Joe, one of the strongest rivals against the Death Riders. So I kind of felt like that this is maybe a match that could have been on Collision potentially. It had something else in its place. I'm not saying it's bad, but
I can tell you why.
Why is that?
So AEW has a recurring pattern where they open the show how they close it. So they have opened the show and throughout the entire show showcased the same, if not along the same story throughout the entire show. And that's like a newer, I'm not good at recognizing patterns, so this is like newer to my viewing. So like there was one time, I think Chris Statlander opened the show and they showed her throughout the night. Tony Storm and Mercedes have opened a show, shown Megan Bayne, and they just like show them throughout the night. Obviously not all just the women, but a lot of it happens with Will Ospreay. A lot of it happens with the Bucks.
Well, not so much on All In and pay-per-views.
No, never. Have I ever noticed this on a pay-per-view. So I thought it was actually very
almost like
fitting at the moment.
Kind of like they were playing the seeds for later.
Yeah, because they had to sprinkle these Death Rider move sets in throughout the night. So they had to give you a little piece of everything throughout the night so that everything clicked later. And it was more like a recognizable thing happening with Will Ospreay getting...
you're getting too far ahead.
So I think that with so many things happening later on, that it will make sense once we go through it, why this match happened so early, and why it kind of was relevant, because you had the Death Riders taking out everybody else.
Well, and I know it's Samoa Joe taking out the big threat. I just think the Trios titles, they won them in April and didn't do anything with them. And that's always kind of been my biggest complaint, is we don't do anything with the Trios titles. So it's almost like the tag team division gets sacrificed when the Trios titles are being built. When the tag team division is being built, the Trio titles so that's it. And it's more of, I'm not trying to complain or critique. It's more of, I wish there was just a little bit more of
you'd wanted them locked away in a briefcase.
No, just non-title match. Like they fought because they were trying to because the Death Riders need something to do. These are the other people trying to fight. I just feel like the titles, especially with Gabe Kidd, maybe the original plan was Pac and for them to win it. I don't know. It just
Top flight, maybe.
It just kind of felt like it was there, but again, it's not the purpose. It was good because then we had the Casino Battle Royal would start, and I'm sorry, Jeff, your number 13 did not hit. We actually had 14 participants, which is wild. And you love yourself a good Casino Gauntlet Battle Royal. And Matt says, I know Joe is closer to the end of the beginning, but I want to see him hover around the top of the card more. He's kind of like Kane at AEW, who do whatever he's roster, but he'll shine every time. I agree, and to kind of one up you, I wouldn't say he's like the Kane. I would say he's definitely, he is that top bruiser guy. He is, I think he's a little bit more talented than Kane, and I think he's more of a soldier than Kane. I would say he's kind of like what Edge was for a while, where he was that top guy. And when you need someone to win the world title, he'll be that in that storyline, or the AJ Styles, where it's you can inject him into any position on the card and it works. And I don't mean talent wise.
Him and Moxley.
Moxley's at a whole nother level though. That's I get what you're saying, but I think
before this turn, Moxley took on a lot.
Definitely, I could see that.
But since the turn, obviously. Let's talk about this gauntlet. I'm so excited.
Well, first of all, you got the guns back like you wanted.
I got the guns. We saw Bowens and Caster.
Can we say we saw Juice without a beer, which I was not prepared to see a clean-shaven Juice Robinson?
I told you guys. Okay, I was not completely correct on that, but I was like, what if he comes back looking completely different than he did?
You nailed it. You did.
I thought he would be... Yeah, but he had like the Bang Bang shirt on. He had the hair still a mess. I thought he was going to be like in a suit almost. Like prestigious.
I mean, he clean-shaven and the promo he... But here's the interesting, before we get to the crux of the Battle Royal, he cut a promo afterwards where he said that the peeing on people is done, the silly stuff is done, I'm here to win gold. The Bang Bang Gang wants gold, baby. And he basically cut a backstage promo that him and the Guns, they don't care if it's a singles title, they don't care if it's tag titles, they don't care if it's trios title. And I agree, he definitely looked like NXT Bo Dallas when he came out. That was my first thought. And he looked like that in NXT. If you go back and look at Juice Robinson in NXT, this is what he looked like. So it was like a blast from the past when I saw it. I was like, it's Juice. And Emily's like, that's not Juice. And all she went is, oh my God, it is.
I saw like behind him his name and I was like, oh my God, you're right. Oh no.
I mean, a lot of people got their shine in this match. I think, Mystico coming out, getting his entrance.
Not enough people knew the words, but we'll give you credit.
I think Ricochet coming out, getting his spots, being a chicken shit. That's him taking that 310 to Yuma was fantastic. We didn't get a lot of the major surprises, but we got Juice and the Guns. We didn't get a lot of major returns or debuts, but I liked it because it kind of set up that story.
You know who I got?
Of MJF winning, which is who you called. What do you got?
We got Beast Mordos.
We did get Beast Mordos.
I was so excited because the running joke was like,
he did.
So is it going to end at 13? Who's 13? And we looked at each other and he goes, Beast? And Beast just trolls out. And he called Juice too.
I called Juice Beast, and at the end,
because Juice was 11.
And then you were like, wow, it's taking a long time between 13 and 14 here, which that's my little gripe. We need to get a consistent time here, because at first it was like a minute to a minute and a half, and then it was like 4 minutes between the participants.
I warned you ahead of time, guys. I said in my notes right here that it is an unpredictable timing.
And it was. And again, MJF getting the cheap win there. But yeah, Beast coming out. I do like the subtle little story, too, of Bowens being down, pissed off that Billy wasn't there. And then Max Caster basically rapping over him and doing the best wrestler alive and being all up in his grill. And then, but I wanted Max Caster came out 14. I wanted him to still be new his entrance while someone won. I thought that would have been funny. If as he's coming down the ramp and he's just talking, all of a sudden you hear the bell ring. He's like, wait a minute, I wasn't done yet. The best wrestler alive hasn't even gotten in the ring. Because when you put that story about Athena potentially getting left out, my first thought was, no, this is the moment right here. It's got to be Max that's left out on the ramp. And it didn't happen, but it would have been funny as hell. And I see why you said it for Athena, which I'm glad didn't come true. Spoiler ahead. But I'm glad that, a lot of people didn't like the Battle Royale. I think the Gauntlet's fun. Again, it's a way to showcase everyone, a lot of pops. I liked it because we got the Bang Bang Gang back. Maybe we'll get Card Blade back since we don't know his status. I thought it was fun. I think it was the right winner. I think MJF having that contract is great. And I love that the contract is good for a year. And here's the interesting part. It says it's good for a singles match, championship match in AEW. So it doesn't really say anything, because if you zoom in on the paper, and again, they can change their rules, kayfabe and everything. Do you think MJF's going to hold on to it Christian style or Money in the Bank style, or do you think he's going to instantly interject himself into a match? What do you think?
He's going to hold that.
Think so?
That's just as good as having a title for him.
Yeah. No, Matt, it was definitely...
I warned everybody. It's in the Wikipedia rulings. It's in the Google rulings. It's a thing. It's a thing they do.
it's still meh.
Gauntlets.
But
That's what they do for the casinos.
overall, it was interesting. I mean, I enjoy it. I always like a good gauntlet. It's a good case of showcase and see some people get some moves in, and it was entertaining because unfortunately, then we get the gut punch. We had learned earlier in the day that Adam Cole was unable to compete due to injury, and they set it up to a fatal four-way with Kyle Fletcher, Sammy Guevara, Dustin Rhodes, and Daniel Garcia. And I still thought Fletcher was going to take this, but we heard Adam Cole come out and basically say he's not in the right headspace right now, so he doesn't want to talk retirement, but he has to step away from the ring. The dirt sheets would report that it's concussions. Again, I don't know exactly how true it is because him or Tony haven't officially said anything, but it's sounding like he might have gotten injured on Collision, taking a spot. If it is concussion, I really hope that he does get healthy. Focus on your health first because there's always a role for wrestling, and him doesn't necessarily have to be bumping.
Yeah.
Just hearing the outlove and support for Adam Cole from everywhere. I agree, Justin. It's absolutely terrible news.
Agreed,
And
Jesse too.
I can't imagine having to go out in front of everyone and either think you're going to retire or telling everyone you're stepping away, and then how do you kind of come back from that? Because anytime you have a sad moment on a pay-per-view or a sad moment on a show where someone's being real, whether it was Daniel Bryan's retirement or Edge's retirement or Ric Flair coming out to say goodbye to the Raw for me, like anytime you have those emotional moments, it's hard to say, hey, show carries on, let's do this. And I think they did a good job pivoting here. Adam Cole relinquished the title because he's going to be stepping away, so they didn't want to do interim. And like Jesse said, Dustin winning was wild. It was wild. And yes, Jesse, it's insane. Adam Cole and KO in the same year, heartbreaking. Both of them potentially could be, never coming back or undetermined. But the fact that they were able to pivot to give Dustin that moment in Texas, whether it's a transitional moment for a few weeks or he has a decent run. I know Matt earlier in our comments said that he should have like a workhorse run, kind of be that veteran leader, not do an open challenge per se, but kind of give people that match. I think best of a worst case scenario is giving someone like Dustin, who is a veteran, his first singles run since 1999, which is wild to think about. His last singles run was Goldust Intercontinental title.
I'll look back and post it later. I believe Dustin said he does want to be a challenging champion. So I think he does want to bring back that TNT aspect.
And
I could see Sammy doing
for someone in his 50s to want to have what's considered workhorse title, the television title means you usually wrestle weekly. That says a lot. And he wrestled twice in one night, and he's not getting younger. And I don't mean that as anything negative. And he's shown he can work. So I go back to World's End with him and Keith Lee. Him and Swerve, excuse me, with Keith Lee's injury when he stepped up. Everyone was like, I don't want to see this match. I don't want to see that. And I think it worked. And I agree with Justin. I think that bring back some sort of open challenge. It would be cool to see someone like, say, Dustin face a Bowens and give Bowens that kind of a little bit of a rub to give him that little heel turn that he was teasing. So I know the TNT title match wasn't what we thought it would be. I think they made the best out of a bad situation. But at the end of the day, I just hope Adam is able to, at least for his health, find out what's right for him. Whether it's wrestling again, not wrestling again. I'm a fan of him as a person first. I would love to see him be able to wrestle again, but if he can't do it safely, I don't want to risk it.
I hope he goes into coaching because he has such a mind for the business that I think it's a really big miss if he doesn't do something still with wrestling. Even if it is his podcasting where he just discusses it and interviews people. His gaming streams are always really great. He's just great with the fans. I think that that's first and foremost for him moving forward is still having that connection to the fan base. And he's going to need that now more than ever.
And again, the Chugs Army is huge. His streaming is huge when he does gaming. So at least he's still, and obviously Up, Down, Down was huge. That community he built there. And I agree with Jesse. I'm glad that we got to see him main event All In, 2023 with MJF again in Wembley. Huge moment for him. I mean, Better Than You, Bebe was such a great run, and unfortunately marred by injuries and other things too. But it was such a great run. I mean, I still have my shirt, and they still have the figure on ringside, and just seeing the chemistry they had. It's nice to see that if he's not able to compete again, I don't think he has anything to hang his hat on that he didn't have a good career. And I agree. I think he has a lot of mind to give back to the business. TNT challenges were instrumental in some pretty big debuts. Could be used for a turn as well. Exactly. Eddie Kingston coming back.
Jay White.
Jay White coming back. And you know Maureen's going to pop for Jay White if you say Jay White. An insider I trust and know personally said that Adam Cole is the sweetest man alive. I agree. We got to meet him at a Rhode Island Comic-Con. He was one of the nicest people we talked to.
We did the boom pose with him, all four of us.
I asked him nicely because I have a good friend who couldn't meet him that day. And I was like, do you mind just saying quick hi to him on video? He made a whole video for him. Didn't even charge me. I offered to pay and everything. He's like, no, I got you. I'm like, are you sure? I'll pay for another autograph. He's like, I'm good. He just was like, yeah, send that to your friend. He'll love it. Like, just, he was so humble and nice and fan-fresh that all these stories coming out, like that Matt's saying, we're saying, I believe it. And he'll definitely be missed. And I think the fallout, again, I think they'll find a way to pivot, and hopefully he's still involved some way or another. And I know it's not easy to segue and move on, but obviously we could do a whole episode down in Cole, which maybe we'll do because I think that would be a fun one to dive into.
Did he ever do other companies like New Japan or anything?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait. I need to dive into all
He was
this.
in the Bullet Club, babe.
Oh, yeah. Derp.
That's all right. You worked earlier this morning. It's okay. So speaking of Bullet Club, the next match, Young Bucks versus Ospreay and Swerve. I will say, without putting anything out there that's too pretentious or too over the top already, I think this is probably my match of the night so far. And I think this is probably one of the best Young Bucks tag team matches since 2020 when they fought the Elite, or even the cage match with the Lucha Brothers.
Best entrance of the night.
I don't know about
all
best
four
entrance
of them.
tonight. I don't know
all
best entrance
four
tonight.
of them.
I don't know, Matt. Well, that could be a whole nother conversation as well. But to stick on the Bucks, I do like the crossing of the Delaware. Like I said on the prediction show, I think they were doing the whole founding father shtick because they knew they were losing their EVBs. I think that was a way to kind of get you thinking about a new nickname moniker for them early. That's why they started doing it pre-Double or Nothing. I liked the JoJo coming out and singing in front of the Fireflies for Swerve, singing Ain't Nobody. That was great. And speaking of someone who got to see all this live, Jamal, welcome back from All In. You definitely had a time. Yes, Matt, that over-the-top entrance of the Bucks was great because it's everything that everyone hates about the Bucks, and that's why I enjoyed it. And then you have Swerve with Ain't Nobody, which popped me because, I don't know, all the cruisers in the comments here, when they was on the cruise, when he sang it, I mean, they had that music came out, and he was dancing in the ring on Cruise 4. I popped because, like, holy crap, his old indie song. So to hear it All In sang by JoJo Offerman was awesome. And having the Fireflies, knowing his connection with Bray, it's special. And what a hell of a match. The Swerve stomp into the Stormbreaker.
You forgot about Ospreay's entrance.
But I feel like he did it last year.
It was different.
I feel like it was the same thing as last. I love Ospreay, but I feel it was the exact same, except that he had live performance. But the only thing I will say about this match, I was shocked that we didn't get a Jack Perry. So I don't know if they're saving that for something else, but I thought it was good. It was a clean victory. I loved all the cohesiveness. It was video game wrestling. You know, we were talking about Mortal Kombat. Cam and I watched the newer Mortal Kombat movie to get ready for the second one this year. This match was fucking Mortal Kombat with the combos and the techniques and all the crazy spots. It was so fun. The fact that you had talked about on our prediction show that they were trained together to get more tandem offense, and the whole match was tandem offense. It was great. I don't think you perked up more than when they started doing all those, like the swerve stomp into the Stormbreaker or the hidden blade into the house call combo that we saw. I think you were just like in shock the entire time.
So something that I like to point out is that Ospreay is one of the best wrestlers at the moment, if not the best, and it's just a fact. It's not any opinion. It's a literal fact. Then you have Swerve, who has been at the top for quite a while. Everything that he touches turns to gold. He is literally doing so much right now, and I think that anything he's a part of in AEW has been perfection.
And I'll get to it later, but there's a reason why there's a reason why we called him a new pillar, Cheap Pop for our YouTube channel. There's a reason why we called Swerve one of our new pillars, because he's a cornerstone of AEW, and this match proved it. And can I just say real quick, Ospreay has chemistry with everyone he works with. It's insane.
Yes, and then also adding in the best tag team of all time. Well, of our time.
I would put Young Bucks up there in the top 3, easily swatching out the top. I will die on the hill of Road Warriors is my favorite tag team of all the time. Young Bucks are up in that conversation too. I know that's probably blasphemous take, but it's great. Those boys go a long way. I like to see them doing the dance off and Dynamite Celebrate. I don't care. I give it to me. I'll give me all the flippy shit. It's a criticism. People give me all the flippy shit. Give me all the enjoyable shit. I'm here to be entertained. I was fucking entertained. That's what I was like.
The kicks,
and I know,
everything.
and Matt, I know you're with me. I know you were hella entertained too. I know it's not a dig at you at all. That was so much fun. And I can only imagine that Matt was probably the person that you, just like me, you're kind of leaning back. The match starts. No, I am seated. You lean forward. I am seated for this.
I was making bracelets for DPW and I put everything down and focused. I was like, nope, locked in.
We only got one left, which is good. That means they got delivered to the right people.
You took that one.
Yes, I know.
We don't have one left. We gave it away to you.
Well, still, it's mine now. Possession is 9/10. Coming up next, though, we have the women's. Oh, before we get to that, actually, I want to ask everybody in the chat. So, what do we think this EVP storyline is going to happen? So, the Young Bucks are no longer EVPs. And Ospreay and Swerve, even though the roster page said it for like 30 seconds, I took down that post because they updated it. Doesn't say that, so I don't get my EVP bruv. So, do you think we're going to get some chicken shit Young Bucks who are afraid of the consequences, or do you think a whole new character arc?
It's the Young Bucks.
Chicken shit, got it.
They eat up the hatred because that's what they've fed off of for years now is that, the Young Bucks.
I mean, they wrote a literal book on everything. It was called Killing the Business. Well, I mean, Matt, you were digging a hole all day, so I'm sure you were probably tired by then. I can't imagine. And
did you make it to China?
Probably with how much that poor man had today, he probably made it halfway and back. But now to go back to the women's gauntlet, since I don't get us too derailed, I'll point out 12 women came out in this one. So I do like that they balanced it out. We had 14 men and 12 women in the gauntlet. So 26 men and women got to showcase because of the gauntlet. It was great. Now the women's match, I'm going to say right now, 100% better than the men's. The women's match was booked better and a lot more entertaining. I'm not saying the men's was a bad match, but I think the women's gauntlet stole the show for best gauntlet. It was great. It was entertaining from the get-go.
I got my girl.
You had Alex Windsor debuting. You had Sarai debuting. You had Willow. You had Statlander. You had Bane. You had Athena. And then even though this one over here wanted Athena to get left out, didn't want Athena to come out to hurt me, Athena still won. Boo. Yeah.
I think we all won because Harley Cat came back.
That is
Thunder
true.
Cat, whatever she called herself.
Actually, saved that too. See, Harley Cat's back with a kitty cat face mask. I agree, Matt. It was better than the men's, and it was great. Sky Blue came out. The Sisters of Sin. You had Anna Jay getting involved. Everyone going after Megan Bain. Statlander and Willow keeping their feud alive. Windsor and Sarai keeping their stuff alive. Again, Harley coming back. I mean, who doesn't love Harley? Harley's probably one of the most over women in that roster. And
we got another Tekla and Julia moment.
And Tekla and Aminata still have their feud go. I can't wait to see them run back. And after getting a chance to talk to Aminata last night, seeing what a sweet person she is, I'm conflicted. I like them both.
Yeah, we're the winners. The fans are the winners.
I agree, Jamal. Feel the wrath. Jamal, you must not have a voice, my man, because that show...
I'm surprised I had one after this week.
From the women's gauntlet, just kind of turned it up and just did not look back. And I feel like that's a lot of AEW pay-per-views where people will like, oh, it started out this way. It's like, they're kind of a slow burn pay-per-view. It's like they start out like, here's this match, and then it builds. Then it's just like, it goes 100 miles an hour and doesn't look back. And I think that's what All In did this year. Because that women's gauntlet was fantastic. And I love the finish. I love the finish of Mina going for the submission and then Athena coming out of nowhere, hitting the O-face and winning in Texas. And only 2 other people on our predictions predicted Athena. One of them was Camden, but there was only one other person who predicted it with us. But unfortunately, they chose the patriarchy to win, which is the next match, and they did not. So no one got a perfect score because of the gauntlets. And I had a feeling the gauntlets would be hard to pick, but a lot of people got the men's gauntlet, but only 3 of us picked Athena. This one wanted to keep her out the side door, keep her out back, being sad and devastated.
Because it would have been hilarious.
And my girl won. Athena won, y'all.
What if Billy had gotten in and Athena didn't?
But still, my forever Ring of Honor Women's Champion, who's going to hit 1,000 days. She's going to win another championship.
I'm just waiting for Queen's time.
Me too. And Jamal, I wouldn't have one at all. Speaking of craziness and tag teams, the tag team trios match, triple threat match, I should say, Hurt Syndicate, Jet Speed, Patriarchy. It was a lot better than I thought. I mean, I think it was hard to follow the women's match because there was a lot of returns and like high energy, but Jet Speed in their All In debut, phenomenal work. Mike Bailey looked incredible. You had Hurt Syndicate, kind of where you were saying, where they kind of got on a mission to hurt people again, kind of looking dominant again. Patriarchy being sneaky, but I'm going to let you talk about it because you kind of been teasing you saw something coming. So, towards the end of the match, you had FTR getting involved and Christian Cage getting his speared and eating the pin, but that wasn't the big story, was it?
I was shocked that Cage was the one that got the pin. And then we saw that Christian had said that he wanted to work this angle with Nick Wayne, and he really wanted to help push Nick Wayne, and that the Copeland story was put on hold in order to do that. What better way to swerve us? What better way to get us to look in the other direction? So here we are thinking everything's fine and dandy, and all of a sudden Nick Wayne turns. Mama Wayne slaps the shit out of Christian. That was like...
And Kip turned.
Yeah.
So the whole patriarchy fell apart.
We didn't even need Kill Switch. No offense, love you, buddy, but we didn't even need you.
I will say, Penta, you've been redeemed. Jeff Hardy, you've been redeemed because my man Cope comes to make the save, but he's got to hit his pyro first. And we were dying laughing. He runs out and he's pointing, and he runs out the other side and he's pointing, and then he stops and he poses on the stage for his pyro, and his buddy's about to get concertoed, and it's like... I love it. It's a big wrestling trope, but I was legit in tears. I'm like, Copeland, go save your friend. Why are you waiting for the pyro to hit? Oh, I'm legit in tears right now. I just ate it up. And I agree with Matt. Hurt Syndicate underestimated them. Besides the Cowboys gear, boo. I thought it was fantastic. I love the Speed Racer gear for Jet Speed. I think the end setup, especially when he grabbed the mic and instead of saying, go fuck yourself, he said, go find yourself. Clearly, All In Toronto, this is happening. So it's clearly happening. And damn, that's actually a really good comparison. That last on the modern day Steiner Brothers, I agree. The way they work, 100% modern day Steiner Brothers.
I think that this match also showed off what everybody can do. I think that it gave us story developing because you have Jet Speed still being able to go for those titles. You have that big tag match that could potentially happen.
You have FTR versus Edge and Christian essentially in Toronto.
Yes. You have the Hurt Syndicate holding the gold still. You have everybody, like I said, I wanted MJF and the Hurt Syndicate to do both together. And then to top it all off, you have the Nick Wayne turn, which furthered that story.
Sorry, this one popped me out to cut you off about Edge's pyro, that it was like funny how the fire department did a McDonald's. Can you imagine?
I hope they ordered online.
Fire department shows up and they're just eating a Big Mac. Is that a Big Mac? Yeah, we're hungry. We knew that this was a long way out, so we grabbed want some fries? No, save my damn stuff. Oh, it was great. I loved it and agree. I think it sets up so much, and again, it sets up Jet Speed, and I think it sets us up. Like I said, All In is the happy moments. Like I said, the entire pre-show, like I said on our Collision Dynamite post shows, All In is the happy show. It sets up those good moments because it's like a big reset. Speaking of reset, that's a clue to my John Moxley. Stay towards the end. We're getting there. But it always sets up what's next. And I'm excited to see that Cope and Christian versus FTR potential All Out. Let's go. Toronto boys. But, we had a lot of talk about the boys, but now we got to talk about the women. Because Mercedes Moné coming out in a robe with all the women she's beaten since she's basically signed to AEW, including on the indies and Stardom, was an awesome touch. She was such an over-the-top heel. Look at me. You guys are behind me. The visual of it. Tony coming out with her usual glitz and glam. The all red. You called that. The red aesthetic and the crowd facing off. And those two ladies fucking killed it in that ring. That was a great match between both Tony and Mercedes. It was a lot better than I thought it would be.
It really was a lot better. I think that Tony in general is going to steal a show no matter what she's doing. She steals a press conference. Like, no matter what she does, she's stealing it. Mercedes, same thing. Mercedes has been truly captivating. I think that whether you're watching to hate her, watching to love her, you're watching her. Her entrance, top notch. That car, great. Everything about it, great. Love it. Yeah, match went how kind of we anticipated. Got a little more than we bargained for.
But Tony won. Just like I said. Everyone doubted me. I'm like, no. Jeff was on my side.
I don't know who doubted you. I think we were 4 for 4.
We were 4-4, but I'm saying people doubted me in the comments when I was like, it's not time.
We were 3 for 4. I don't know who doubted you.
Exactly. Tony retains. Mission accomplished. Well, the Pick'ems did. Mission accomplished. That's right. Because that Avalanche Storm Zero, I think Mercedes lost like 3 inches on her height after that. Holy shit, she took that bump.
She can't afford to lose 3 inches.
Well, you know what I mean. But, I mean, I think there was one point she hit like 2 or 3 Storm Zeros in a row and couldn't pin her. They delivered. They had a mission to go out there and prove why they deserved to be co-main event. Absolutely killed it. It was a triple main event match. They killed it. I'm so glad that they got to go in the spot today because it was a perfect spot after the tag team match before Omega Okada. So it wasn't really overshadowed. So I thought it was a good placement on the card. And Tony winning, I was very happy because I had a little fear that Mercedes would get in the belt. But I liked that Tony. I didn't like what she did to Luther. I felt I was a little mad what she did to my boy Luther.
Disrespectful.
That was like, yeah, that was only massive because of the women's gauntlet. See, that's where a lot of people I think picked the women's gauntlet for the main event. I chose Athena because Athena and Toni Storm have history way back in NXT, and I think that's a good story too. First Brad Williams cruise. Oh man! So what else did you like about the women's match to wrap that one up before we go to the main event? I mean, before we go to Kenny Okada in the main event.
I just really enjoy everything that Toni puts out. I think that she has captivated the women's division. Again, probably going to get Wrestler of the Year. I hope she does. She's earned it. Yeah, 2 of the top women. At first, I'll be honest, I wasn't thrilled with having a champion versus champion match where it wasn't both the titles on the line or all 10 of them. I think that, oh my gosh, that part of Mercedes' entrance. How did we forget the cheerleaders?
Oh, the cheerleaders all wearing her titles?
Incredible. Anyways,
I think it showed that she didn't need the extra title because she had to have people wearing them.
Yes, so this is just
I like Jamal's comment here. Tony is God's gift to professional wrestling. Yes, she is.
I think that at first, again, I was just kind of soured on the idea of having a champion versus champion. Like, cool. Like, what is this going to give? Like, I don't see any way that Mercedes is taking this. And then during the match, I'm like, oh, shit, she's going to take it. No, she can't win. No,
she was on the edge of her seat when Mercedes got that near fall where it was like 2.99. Emily leaned forward and she was like, no.
Like, this can't happen. Like, Again, I'm a huge Mercedes fan. I just didn't want to see her hold every title in the company because I want to see her defending all of them like she's been doing.
I think this run with Tony is going to have to pick because I think that whoever beats Tony is going to be elevated. And I think someone like Athena dethroning her. I think so. Tony Khan's good at he plans out his champions, his lineage, and he famously planned out their first 4 AEW World Champions. I think now that he's realized what patterns work for him, I think he's planning out his next champ. I think there's little hints and clues along the way. Hell, here's one clue. What did I say back in December when we were talking about World's End? Well, All In's a damn belt buckle, so you know who's probably going over there. Cowboy.
Yes.
So there's always seeds planted. I think they did a good job because you still have Athena kind of lurking. You have Tekla who's making ruckshot of the division. You have Queen Emanata. You have a hater who's going to return soon. You have a lot of people who stake claim. There's a lot of feuds and rivalries that can run back for both TBS and women. I think they did a good job. Good finish. Mercedes' first loss going to Tony still protects Mercedes too because it took the best of the best to beat Mercedes.
It did.
And speaking of the best, the next match, which we got to watch live with you guys, and we appreciate everyone who watched us, was Omega versus Okada 5. And I agree, Toni Storm is the best in interviews, best skin, and most charismatic. But speaking of charismatic, we got to see the 5th iteration 7 years later, and I know a lot of people were disappointed that it went short, and a lot of people were disappointed at the finish. I think the finish was for a reason. Okada would get the victory. However, you got to look at everything involved here. Every time Kenny Omega has faced someone that Don Callis is managing one-on-one, he's lost. So that's part of the story. Number one is Kenny Omega has never beaten someone one-on-one if they are being managed by Don Callis. So I think that's part of the story. I think evening up 2-2 is part of the story so they can have their definitive match. And I think they're going to do it so it's not for a title. I think that was kind of the giveaway for me. Why I chose Okada, why I went against Omega was because it was for a title. And I think they're trying to keep that. They both are at the top of their game, whether there's gold or not. And I think it's a way to run it back. But this match was everything I wanted. I think it was another chapter in their story. I think that it's hard to compare to their first match because that was 8 years ago. And it's even hard to compare to their fourth match because it was 7 years ago. They're older. They're people. Kenny has to wrestle a different style because of his diverticulitis. I think it was a fantastic match. I think it was a real big homage to their older matches while kind of showing how they do it modern, how they can go now. So I think it was kind of a love letter to the match showing what they can do, but I don't think they gave it to us all. I think they teased us for the future.
It was a sprinkle of what they're capable of. I think that the thought process behind Okada's move set was very, very methodical as far as Don Callis is concerned. I think that Don Callis is a lot of why Okada did what he did in the ring. He usually doesn't work that one, like, he doesn't work one part, he works multiple. And this body. Time around, he was mainly working the core. I think that that's a lot to look at. And in general, I just think that this match was a love note. That's a great way to put it. I think that it was definitely like
a callback to their past.
Not too fast paced, not too slow. It was just right. Goldilocks style, just right. It was everything we needed and then a little more. Could we have had a little bit of a faster pace? I would have liked that in the middle. But they were beating the shit out of each other.
And I think that was everyone's complaint, was that it sped up and then right when it was kind of hitting the crescendo, it ended. But I think that was the point. It was the heel. And I think Jesse
go too fast or Kenny is going to go over.
And I think here's where Jesse, his point, this is what I was thinking too, Instant Classic. Next one should be an Iron Man match. I think that's why they had such a divisive end with hey, he hit the One-Wing Angel. It was protected. Don Callis, that fucking hot dog man himself, pulled him out.
But
so I think that sets up that definitive match, like Maureen says, that it's going to set to mean all the more.
Tony Khan said next time there's going to be repercussions because
there's continental rules now, right?
Continental rules now, so there cannot be any outside interference. And I think he said he's going to have to pay a fine or something more is going to happen. I forget exactly what the wording was for the press conference.
I think they said they're going to fine Callis because they would have fired him under normal circumstances.
That's what it was, firing.
And you have a great point here that I think people set the bar really high. And I think it keeps, you're correct, it keeps Okada undefeated. So whoever defeats Okada is going to be a made person too.
And the One-Winged Angel did not get kicked out of.
It's still protected. Boom. And Matt called it in our chat that night too. And he said, this one landed better with me than I thought. Really good. Not too long. Great sequences. Okada channeled Hansen with JBL with that last Rainmaker. Absolutely. When he hit that final Rainmaker, Kenny just went ass over tea kettle. That was... Stan Hansen is a great reference there because for those who haven't seen a Stan Hansen match, just type in Stan Hansen lariat and you'll never want to take a clothesline from anyone else because that just looks like it sucks. But speaking of Stan Hansen, speaking of lariats, it's the main event. It's what we all were waiting to see. It's Cowboy shit versus Moxley. And there's a lot to digest here, so that's why I wanted to say this at the end. So again, stay tuned to the end. I'm going to tell you why I think everything will happen Moxley. But we got to start with the entrances because the seeds were already planted. Cowboy comes out to his old music, but I liked the intentional camera gag here because I think you and Cam pointed out at first. They filmed the heel tunnel, and then all of a sudden they jerked over and filmed the face tunnel when Hangman came out because the cameraman was expecting him to come out of the heel tunnel because Hangman hasn't come out of the face tunnel yet until he did tonight, until he did All In. Wearing his new gear, going back to his old school song. That vibe was just right. And then Moxley coming in, that truck, just walking through the crowd. You knew Texas Death. You knew it was going to be bloody. It was going to be brutal. It was going to be violent. It was going to be shenanigans. And it absolutely was. It was a beautiful masterpiece. You had everything going right for it. I absolutely love that Bryan Danielson comes back doing the yes chant wearing Blue Panther's mask. The spots with the glass was nasty. The bed of nails. The chair spots when he powerbombed him on the top of the 2 chairs. The fork in the forehead. Everything was brutal
sprayed.
and violent and bloody. It was what it should have been. It was what Moxley's wanted. He wanted someone to step up and actually be the blood and the guts and the soul of AEW. You had Bryan Danielson coming back with, again, the Blue Panther doing the yes chants after he just told the world that he was told not to do the yes chants. And then the moment, which we've been saying since April, the big Jumbotron lights up and you see the top of Mount Everest. It pans back and forth, and then you see Darby's face, and he says, on top of the fucking world. And Moxley, I'm coming down to take everything from you. And just like Sting, he descends down from the rafters, stares down Moxley, takes out the Death Riders with a coffin drop, and then you think it can't get any crazier. And it does. Swerve comes out and gives him the chain because for some reason he didn't come out and help Ospreay when Ospreay got taken out. But Swerve comes out with the chain, throws the chain into the ring to Hangman. Hangman, just like the first Texas Death match with him, hangs Moxley. Great visual here. Moxley's hanging over the ropes. And then you see the fear get in his eyes. He realizes, oh, fuck. He starts getting scared, instantly taps out. New champion. He opens the briefcase, and what was in that briefcase? What did we see?
The actual AEW World Championship. I'm glad you made it to the floor, Jamal, too. Marina being handcuffed, I don't think I've ever been that loud at home watching wrestling. I was like dead. I could not stop laughing and just like, oh my God, that just happened.
Yeah, it's definitely a cringy spot to see the glass. Nobody ever said that they meant the other story, but as bad as some made it be, Adam Page is always the guy. He got caught up in the shuffle. I definitely think it refueled his career. Again, another one. We did a whole episode on Swerve and Hangman. Go check it out. It's absolutely great rivalry. I think it set it up, and I think the storytelling from Swerve really helped set it up. Darby had a slow descent. The camera shot Darby Mox. It was the buckshot from the side. He skinned the cat. He literally went backwards, did the Shawn Michaels skinning the cat to hit the buckshot. That was money. I think it was done the right way. I'm glad that Cowboy got the redemption. I've been saying since December, All In was Hangman's time. The belt buckle was the logo. It was called All In. A cowboy winning gold in Texas when the logo is a belt buckle just makes sense. And those are the seeds that are planted. Now, I told you I would kind of go into why this Mox storyline. Mox told us everything. Mox told us his plan. Back when he came back, he told Tony Schiavone. What did he tell Tony Schiavone when he came back from injury last year?
If I know.
This isn't your company anymore.
Oh, that's right.
And then, after everything, he started teasing, taking out Bryan Danielson with the bag. He called it Day Zero, that he was going to reset AEW. That this is Day Zero. We begin from here, and it might not look like much different right now, but it will. And things will be accomplished in incremental steps, doing little things constantly. And that's how big changes will be made. My goals going forward are going to be the most ambitious things I've ever attempted. And logically on paper, one would say impossible. He wanted to bring AEW back. He promised to make the locker room unified to fight, to bring AEW back. What was the first thing he did when he won the title? He locked it in a briefcase. He didn't even change the side plates to himself. He didn't care about the championship. He cared about AEW. AEW was in shambles optics-wise, according to him. No one cared. Everyone cared about their egos. No one cared about AEW like he cared about AEW. So he said, you have to do things to get people's attention, like putting a bag over someone's head. You have to do things to get attention, like not having a wrestling match when the crowd expects a 5-star banger and you go out and you just choke out people and you just hurt people and you make them step up to your level. And who's the one person that's always considered his equal? Hangman. When he started his feud with Hangman back before the first Texas Death match, it started because he accidentally gave him a concussion, remember?
No.
He accidentally gave Hangman a concussion. That's what led up to their whole story. And he's always considered Hangman the one to kind of be that person who can go to his level. He saw him at that level. And he always said, if you want this title, you got to take it out of my cold, dead hands. And he said, you take 1,000 John Moxleys and I still won't give that title. He needs a locker room. He needs a purge that can't just be egos and complacency and softness, that every AEW has lost their soul. AEW needs their soul. Well, who's always been called the main character? Who's the heart and soul of AEW? Hangman. This story has always been about Hangman's redemption. This story was about getting Hangman back over, so when the moment he opened that briefcase, the crowd would go crazy, which is exactly what it did. So as much as people shit on the Death Rider storyline, as much as they shit on Moxley, he did what he said he was going to do. He locked away that title, said, come at me if you want this title, fucking prove to me you believe in AEW, put your ego aside, put the star ratings aside, put Twitter aside, get this fucking title from me. And that's what he did. That in kayfabe, that's what he did. He elevated that title. He made that championship mean something. He fought him. He wanted to make someone take him to little depths of hell to win that title, which is what Hangman did. And we have a comment here. Moxley fought Page 2022 for loss to MJF. Moxley knocked out Hangman. Yep, that was when he got the concussion. And that's what started this whole trajectory. Mox's next promo will have my attention to see where he's going. I agree, because I mean the way he said it word by word, that the only way you're going to win this title was through war, through blood. Through blood. He told you that you had to. The only person he ever respected was Hangman. He said multiple times, I don't respect a lot of people, but I respect that Cowboy. He wanted someone worthy because he was willing to burn down the forest to plant a new one. And remember, he very fittingly said after he won the title, after Wrestle Dream, if you don't want to be here, leave, or else you work for me now. And what did the Young Bucks do? They scurried off. You had Ospreay, you had Darby, you had Hangman, you had Orange Cassidy, Daniel Garcia, the one stepping up. But no one went to that level like Hangman. And that's where the story was. That's how I've kind of been interpreting this story for a while. Was, do I like how the Death Riders, how their matches have gone?
I agree,
Probably
Jamal.
not. Yeah, can he finally take that vacation that's like, what, 3 years overdue at this point? But it feels like they were telling us a story. We all wanted a payoff too early. I know it didn't hit the crescendo for some people, but if you really think about what the heel's job is to piss you off, to not see them want to win, to, oh my God, his title reign needs to be over. I think Moxley did his job and did it brilliantly.
Me too.
And I know that...
Love to hate them. That's exactly what it is. I'm not supposed to like you. If you are in that role, the fans are not supposed to enjoy what you're doing.
No, and I think the hardest part of being a wrestling fan in the age of social media, you have some wrestlers who will go on social media and they'll be Ashley. They won't be Charlotte. They'll be whatever Darby's real name is. Not saying he does, but some people are going to either be themselves or in kayfabe. Tony Storm isn't gimmick like 24/7. MJF isn't gimmick like 24/7. Some wrestlers, Hangman even kind of stays in gimmick.
Yes.
I think Moxley's gimmick's just him turned to 11. So I think some of these people just stay in that character. And I think it helps elevate the faces when you have such a dastardly heel. Darby vs. Moxley should do a barbed wire massacre, but we haven't had Blood and Guts. So we haven't had Blood and Guts yet, but we have Forbidden Door coming up. So I think Gabe Kidd, maybe he wants to get paid, or maybe he wants some revenge coming out. So I think there's a lot to go on. I think there's pay-per-view will bring a lot. So I think in our closing thoughts, where do we think we go from here? I mean, I'm going to give All In a 9 out of 10. I said on our page. I think it was the best pay-per-view of AEW of the year. I'm excited to see it go, but like I said, this is the happy. Hangman got his moment. Where do we go now? What's the next big plot armor? What's the next big, oh my God? Or where do you think we go from here?
I think we see MJF teasing that contract a lot. I don't think he'll hold it as long as Christian. I think that Hangman's not a tree that MJF wants to climb. Some other people might, but not MJF. I think that we will have someone from Forbidden Door style come in and challenge. I would love to see a CMLL.
I mean, there could definitely be some sort of mixing it up to...
Mystico's been getting a really good push, so what if we saw Mystico versus Hangman at Forbidden Door? I think that All Out is going to bring MJF getting a title or title shot. I think that that's when that happens.
I agree. I agree with that. I think that'll be a good setup too. And also with this, I think the production was superb. I like that your pictures also from All In, Steven. So I hope you had a great time. Double or Nothing was a 9.5 out of 10 for me. I give this 8.9 out of 10. Those are still fair ratings. I think if we're rating AEW pay-per-views, I think the lowest I've given one was like a 7, and that's not even because it was a bad show. I have never once, I say this every time, I've never once regretted purchasing a pay-per-view.
No.
Jesse thinks that he sees All Out. Hangman, that's another good one. I think we're definitely on the road to All Out. I love that All Out is now September. Like, this was July, so I love that there's like a 2-month build between.
Not like a week.
So I think we're going to get slow burn. So you're going to get the FTR, the Cope. I think you'll definitely get MJF potentially running that back that story from Revolution. Who's going to challenge Mercedes for TBS? I mean, you got to get like a Willow or a Statlander to try to run it back. Statlander, do you think the third time's a charm for her? There's so much. I'm excited to see where it's going to go. Jamal, I'm glad you had a great trip. I look forward to seeing what's next as well. I'm looking forward to hopefully next year giving you guys a rundown from London.
Hopefully.
That's what we're hoping. Our goal is to go to London next year to see this ourselves because I got some FOMO seeing all you guys have fun. When it comes to AEW, I say take my money. Exactly. Take my money. I've never been disappointed. I'm always entertained. I love that it was Saturday. I love it was Saturday after 8 o'clock at night. I'm like, oh, hey, I can watch Saturday Night Main Event now because AEW is over. I can finish this up. And it's not 2 a.m. I wasn't feeling the super long in the preview until I realized it was countered. I mean, I think it was kind of a way of saying, okay, you want to put some, I'll run it. And I think the wrestling world was happy this weekend. I think that whatever you liked in wrestling, I think everyone got something.
Was it longer than usual?
It was I think it was longer than Mania 35. It was one of the longest. It was the longest AEW pay-per-view in history.
Okay.
So, and I think that too. London will be fun. I think AEW is going to be fun. I think we're really in the next season. Like if you look at it in television, this was the season finale. We're in the next season of AEW. I'm excited to see where it goes. Damn, exchange rate kills me. It's got to get better than this one. Matt, unfortunately, I can't control that for you unless I send you some cash in an envelope, and then I think you'll still lose out in that one.
Something I also...
I like the Gladiator reference. Were you not entertained?
I know I say this a lot, but I just want to tell everybody that wrestling in general right now, the fans are winning. Mm-hmm. You have so many people tuning into AEW that never did before in the last 2 weeks. And if you check out our YouTube channel, you'll see a lot of videos.
No, absolutely. Especially the Derby Mount Everest. We've been covering that since April. We have a lot of new episodes on there and some past episodes.
We've covered trilogies. We've covered quite a bit of wrestlers in AEW. So if you're curious, we have covered them. And we did interview Zach Knight before he left, and he gives a good insight on that as well.
We also interviewed TNA's new signing Jada Stone, which we got to say hi to her last night. So definitely check it out. Make sure you give us like, subscribe. I appreciate it. We got about 10 subscribers this past weekend, so thank you guys so much. I'm going to figure out something to do with that gift card because I know no one wanted predictions, but maybe we'll figure out something this week. So stay tuned because I still want to say thank you to everyone because without you guys, it'd just be us talking to the ether. So I appreciate everyone who tunes in, even if it's just to drop a comment for a few minutes and leave. Just the fact that you guys took your time out of your day to say hi to us and chat with us, it means the world to Emily and I. We appreciate it. We love doing these reviews and talking about wrestling because people in our personal life are sick of us talking about it.
And check the mail. Our MJF came yesterday.
Yeah, so...
Today? Yesterday?
Today. So we're going to wrap up for tonight. It was a great All In. I'm looking forward to seeing what this build is. Make sure you stay tuned to our page. See all the updates. Check out our podcast. But remember to always keep the kayfabe. Good night, everyone.